Okay, so artificial intelligence, that we are making the systems to learn, the computers to learn to do the job that a human can do. Okay, and then machine learning. Okay, why machine learning? So whatever the task that you are going to complete, you want to complete as a machine in AI, so that will be done by machine learning. That means your the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Okay, that means you are not going to sit and write each and individual rule. Okay, you are not going to write all those rules. Okay, rather you say you train your model such that it will learn all the rules. You don't write if height greater than 5.6 is male, if height less than 5 she is female, the person is female. Like this you are not going to write exclusively explicitly. Okay, to identify a gender based on the height and weight. If you give a simple example, height and weight you are giving, and you are saying you are making the machine to learn, the model to learn. Okay, so there you are not going to sit and write if height greater than 5.6 the person is male, not if else the person is female. You are not going to write these kind of things. The machine or model is going to learn how does, okay, a man looks like, how does a woman looks like, what are the features, height and weight features of a man, and height and weight features of a woman. It will learn. Next, you just give height and weight and ask the model, who is this person? Male person or female person? It will tell you male or female. Okay. There, you are going to develop a model, right? Next, deep learning. So what is the deep learning here? Like I said, it involves deep neural network. You can see the neurons, and they are connected with other neurons. Okay, so that means you have many number of layers. Okay, you are going to give an image. So earlier we talk height and weight as the features, right? Now you are not, you are going to give an image. That's it. You are not going to tell what is that. Okay, what is there in the image. You are just going to give the image and say this is the cat, and what features, the how does the cat ears looks like, face looks like, tail looks like. Okay, if you give them a dog, how does a dog look like, how its face looks like, how its ears looks like. Okay, so these features it's going to learn. You are not going to tell explicitly. Okay, so it's going to learn. That's why it is named as deep learning. You just give an image, it will tell you what is that image, whether cat image or dog image. Okay, so we are going to develop that even that we are that model which actually distinguishes between a cat and a dog. We are going to develop that as part of deep learning concept. Okay, in the future. So this is the difference between the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Hope it is clear. Okay, if you are a data scientist, again I'm telling you, if you are a data scientist, you are going to work on like machine learning problems and deep learning problems. Okay, so that is the role, and these are the tasks that you are going to do. Okay. Here you can see the years. Okay, so from 2010 onwards it is getting the momentum, and most of the things are, okay, tasks are going to solve by these programs or machines. Okay. What happened so far, the history of AI. So what happened so far that we are going to look. I don't go through all these milestones. Okay, I want to just highlight a few milestones. Okay, so you can see in 1955. So this person is John McCarthy, and he introduced the term called artificial intelligence. John McCarthy at 1955. Okay, in the 1957, Samuel introduced term called machine learning, and he came up how can we achieve artificial intelligence through machine learning. Through machine learning. Okay. Next, so this happened, and then coming to this age 19 from 1973 to 1980, so there is a gap. This is called first AI winter. That means there is no much progress happened in the AI. Okay, because of various reasons, lack of resources, lack of uh, uh, hardware and software, there was no improvement in the AI. After that, once we got sufficient, the problems were resolved. Okay, so in the 1997, okay, IBM's Deep Blue beats Kasparov in chess. Okay, you can see this video in your free time. Okay, the machine, okay, the machine played against to the grandmaster, chess grandmaster Gary Kasparov, and it beated him. I mean, defeated him. Okay, that means a program that like programmers like you and me, they sat from IBM and they developed a they developed a machine. Okay, one system. That system played against to Gary Kasparov and it defeated. Now you try to understand how intelligently that system was developed, and that was happened. Okay, because of this machine learning. Okay, because of this machine learning, it fed with all the games that he played. Okay, all the other grandmasters played, and it learned, if he plays this move, what should I play, which move I have to take, like this. And at the end, he was defeated. That is the milestone in 1997. And then there is a movie called Artificial Intelligence. Probably if you have time, you can even watch that movie. In 2001 it was released, that Artificial Intelligence, and that is the best movie. Okay, you will definitely admire and appreciate that movie. Okay, Artificial Intelligence, AI, in 2001. And then the next milestone is that, like whatever, if you are using the smartphone like Apple or Google or any other phone, they have their own voice assistants, right? We call Siri, Siri from Apple, Cortana from Microsoft, right? Alexa from Amazon. Okay, so we have these voice assistants. If you speak, it will reply to you. It will understand the speech, whatever that you spoke, and it will try to return, okay, reply with the suitable and meaningful reply. It will give you meaningful replies. Okay. And then finally in the 2016, so there is a game called Go actually. So Google DeepMind's AlphaGo beats Go champion. Okay, that means the chess has limited number of moves if you can take, because you have 64 the boxes will be there. I mean, limited number of moves will be there, but Go has many more moves. Okay, many more probabilities to take any move. Okay, so even that, okay, that also learned by a machine, and that machine defeated the Go champion. Okay, in 2016. Okay, that's where, so all these milestones were recorded. Okay, so and then now we are at this stage. Okay, so if you have time, probably you can watch the video of Sophia. Okay, so who was given the citizenship. Actually, it is a robo. Okay, but it was given a citizenship. Okay, and you can talk to Sophia and understand okay, many things. It will give you much more information. So after, it is a machine, so even if you have time, you can go through and watch that video. Okay, next. So now what are we going to learn, okay, in the course, learning machine learning ecosystem in this. Okay, so I will highlight what we are going to learn, and then so these things will be covered as part of course. Okay, okay, so here so if you take this machine learning, okay, so whatever we are seeing here, this machine learning, it has its own branches. Like we have classical learning. Okay, in the classical learning we have unsupervised and supervised learnings, unsupervised and supervised learnings here. Okay, and we have ensemble methods. Okay, now actually I am going to introduce the jargons from machine learning. Okay, jargon, the words, the keywords from machine learning. So try to understand. If you have pen and paper, probably you can note down if you get confused. Okay, but over the period as we are going through, okay, the course, definitely it will be clear by the end of the course. That is my confidence. Okay, so but now if you are confusing with words, probably you can note down and you can write in your own words. Okay, so we have different different concepts here. The machine learning is divided into, I mean, it has the classical learning. In the classical learning, we have unsupervised and supervised branches. Okay, the supervised is called, okay, there are, you have the uh, you have the attributes. The attributes are nothing but features. Note down a term called feature. Okay, so there are features we call a typical, okay, data sample. Okay, a typical data sample looks like, okay, the height and weight of a person. Here height and weight are called features. Okay, if height is 5.7 and weight is 70, is a male. The male is called a label here. Okay, male is called a label. So what I'm trying to say here is, you have height and weight and a label. Okay, these things you have. The height is 5.6 and weight is 70, and this label is called male. Okay, and you also have height 5.1. Okay, 5.1 and weight, so for example 40. Okay, 40, and then you have a label called female. Okay, so this is how a typical data sample looks like. This we call data sample. So here we have two data samples. The first data sample is male data sample, second one is female data sample. So now you understand what is label, right? Okay, if you have labels, okay, in the data, that is called supervised learning. That is called supervised learning if the label is there. Okay, if the label is not there, okay, if you don't have this information, the label feature, the column is not there. Imagine that this is in the tabular format, the label column is not there, you have only height and weight. That is called unsupervised learning. Okay, so whatever the technology, the algorithms, techniques that we apply as part of unsupervised learning, okay, there in the data set you don't have labels, you have to assume that. So in the supervised uh, way, so whatever the data sets that we use, they will have labels. Okay, now what do you do in the supervised learning? The supervised and unsupervised, the major difference is that supervised is like classroom teaching, where you have a teacher, and whatever you do, if you do a mistake, teacher will tell you that is a mistake. If you do the good thing, teacher will tell you you are doing the good thing. That means you are going to get some information, some feedback from teacher. That's why it is supervised. Somebody is supervising, somebody is observing what you are doing. In the unsupervised learning, the difference is that you are doing a distance program. Like we do courses, okay, let us take degree course, you do in college and you do as online, the distance program also, like Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar Open University program, or any other open university program, where you don't have a typical teacher, classroom teacher, you don't have there. You have to learn your own. You have to go through the please somebody annotating. Okay, please don't experiment with the tools. Okay, so here in the unsupervised way, here you don't have a classroom, typical classroom teacher. Okay, you just have the books, you will learn the books, you will learn the concepts, but nobody will tell you whether that is right or wrong. Whatever you are doing is right or wrong. Finally you end up with that, right? So that's where the supervised and unsupervised comes into picture. Okay, so supervised is you have the labels and you will get some information from that. Unsupervised, you don't have labels, you don't get any information. Okay, so if you have labels, what you can do with the labels, either you can do the classification. Okay, either you can do the classification, or you can do, so this is the classification, or you can do the regression. Okay, so what is the classification here? The classification is nothing but whatever the example we discussed, male or female. Okay, now next, if you give any other data sample, you are going to predict either male or female. You have only two options there. I say you have only two options, either male or female. That's it in this use case. Okay, so another use case, you have digits 0 to 9 digits, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you trained a model and on the sheet you are writing one digit, like 2 or like 7, like 5. You're drawing that. Okay, then that model will predict to what you have drawn. Either it is a 5 or it is a 6 or it is a 9 or it is a 2. That means you have options of 10 there, right? 10 probabilities are there, but they are actually labels. That will be part of your label, correct? So that's called classification. In the classification, your output will be discrete. We call they are discrete in the sense like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or male or female, or yes or no, true or false. So these things are discrete. Okay, and in the regression, what are you going to do? Okay, so this is the regression part. In the regression, you are going to predict a continuous value. A continuous value. The regression is a simple example is that uh, you are going to college from your home. If you start at 8 o'clock, okay, you will it will take 40 minutes. If you start at 9 o'clock, it will take 50 minutes, right? If you start at 10 o'clock, it will take 1 hour. Okay, this is the data sample that you have. Okay, so what is that you have here? Your data sample is looking like, what is the start time? Start time, and how much time it will take. Okay, how much time it will take. If you start at 8 o'clock, it will take, if you start at 8 o'clock, it will take 40 minutes. If you start at 9 o'clock, it will take 50 minutes, like this, right? Now your model should say, okay, how to predict if you start at 10 o'clock, how much time it will take. Okay, so this value is not continuous value, right? The time whatever you are taking, okay, this is not a continuous value. This is not a discrete value, sorry. This is a continuous value. Okay, so if your output, whatever you are going to predict, if the output is a continuous value, that problem is called a regression problem. Okay, please make note of it. So if your output predicted value is a continuous value, then your problem is a regression problem. If the predicted output is a discrete value, then your problem is a classification problem, right? Okay. Now, so what are there to implement? Okay. In the machine learning, what do you implement? Okay. So you will implement a classification. There are classification algorithms called KNN. That's called K nearest neighbor, naive Bayes, SVM, decision trees. Okay. Decision trees. So these things you have. So these things you have as classification techniques. You are going to implement these things: the naive Bayes, KNN, SVM, decision trees, logistic regression. These are all called classification techniques, and we are going to study all these in our course. Okay, so when do we apply KNN? When do we apply naive Bayes? When do we apply SVM? When do we apply decision trees? When do we apply logistic regression? Okay, if you decide that your problem is a classification problem, that is the main condition there. Okay, if you feel that your problem is a regression problem, I will give you another regression problem. For example, you have the a shop. Okay, in the shop you are selling a few medical items. Okay, few items. Okay, in January you sold 100 items, in February you sold 200 items, in March you sold 300 items, like this. Okay, now let's say in August how many items you will sell. Okay, you have this data in August, how many items you sell. Okay, that is a regression problem, right? Because that is a continuous value. Okay, that value will be no more in your data set. So as your output, the prediction output will be a continuous value. So your problem, you have to treat that as a regression problem. So now what you can apply if you feel that it is a regression problem? You can apply linear regression technique, or polynomial regression technique, or ridge or lasso regression technique. Okay, so we are going to study linear regression, we are going to study polynomial regression, we are going to study. Okay, they are simple to understand and it will be useful. Okay, if you know one or two from each in each and every section, that is sufficient enough. You can solve that problem. Okay, so that's why I'm saying we are taking few things. Okay, so you are going to study in classification KNN, naive Bayes, SVM, decision trees, and logistic regression. Okay, this is supervised. That means you have the labels. Okay, and you are going to solve the problem. If you don't have the labels, okay, if you don't have the labels, what do you do with that? So that is called unsupervised learning. So I will give you a small example again. So what is that example? Unsupervised learning. So your so again I'm taking one data set. Okay, uh, what is the data set I'm taking here is you have typical example is you have let us take a cricket example. In the cricket example you have how many runs you scored and how many wickets you have taken. Okay, simple example, how many runs you scored, how many wickets you have taken. So let us take how many runs you scored is 10,000. Okay, how many runs you scored is 10,000, and how many wickets you have taken is simply like 10 wickets. Okay, next example, how many runs you scored? I scored around 2,000 or 2,500 runs I scored, but how many wickets you have taken? I have taken around 350 wickets I have taken. Okay, like this there is a data set. Okay, now you don't have any label here, right? But this data is given to you. Now you have to, okay, now you have to, what is your duty? You have this data set, you have to cluster them. You have to cluster, you have to group them. Okay, we understand that similar objects will be in the nearest places. Okay, you have the similar objects or similar persons will be forming a group. Even if you take your classroom example, your college example, whoever has the similar mindset will be forming a group, right? Okay, you will be seeing the different groups in your college, different groups. Okay, if you observe any group, typically you might have observed earlier also, if you observe any group, you can say that so they are like enjoying group, for example. I'm saying, okay, don't take me wrong. Okay, so that is the enjoying group. That means they will always like go and watch movies, make parties. Okay, so this kind of things they will be doing. I mean, I'm just giving an example. Okay, don't take me wrong. So that is, that group is, they have similar mindset that okay, let's enjoy our life. Okay, that. And the next, if you take another group, they will be more of chatting or speaking. Okay, they always spend some time by gossiping. Okay, they gossip, they chit chat. Okay, so like this similar kind of persons will be forming a group. Like that, here you have, in this example, like you have runs and wickets, you have to form into groups. So typically, what are the groups you can expect? Can you type in the chart? So the question is clear to you, right? Okay, so I have this data, I have this data set, how many runs they scored, how many wickets they have taken. So what kind of patterns? Okay, you have to note down a different word jargon called pattern. Okay, what kind of pattern you observed out of this data set? Please ping in the chat box. Okay, we have got good responses here, very good, and they actually predicted is correct. Okay, so we are going to divide them into batsmen and bowlers, exactly, right? Because, but nobody is telling who is batsman, who is bowler, right? Nobody is telling there. But your intuition is that if the person scored many runs, he will be a batsman like Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma. Okay, and whoever takes more wickets, okay, he will be like your Jasprit Bumrah or Shami, right? More wickets. So that's why That's why you're dividing them into two groups, like more good batsmen and good bowlers, right? And what do you do if you do that out of it? If I provide this kind of data set, what do you do with that? Okay, to make a balanced team, to form a balanced team, okay, you need to have the good number of batsmen and good number of bowlers, the best batsmen, best bowlers. Okay, so that you can take out of 11 members player, you can take 4 members from batsmen, and the best four from bowlers, and the rest of the three you can take from anywhere else. Okay, like wicket keepers or all rounders. Okay, so that you are going to form a good team there, right? So this is how you are going to use. This is a small use case. So another use case I'll tell you. You have a data set with the properties, with the features like age, okay, age, income, okay. So what you have? You have the data set with the features are age, income, okay, age and income. So you have age, for example, 15 years age, and the income will be no income, okay. You have the age of, for example, 30 age, and the income will be 10 lakh, okay. And you have another 50 age, and you have income will be some 20,000, because at that point of time you don't get on much, okay. You have this kind of data set, and what do you do out of this data set? Okay, there is no label again, but you have some information in this form, age and income form. What do you do? Okay, so typically this information is with like we have this marketing people, right? We have these marketing people, so they have this information. What do they do with this information? What do they do with this information? Can you please type in chat again? The marketing people have this information. So what kind of, okay, analysis, what kind of observations they draw out of this information data set? Okay, so yeah, experience versus no experience, right? Okay, yeah, so most of the times what do we do is we will bring up, okay, different policies, right? If you see that LIC employees, I mean the promotional, so you have the uh, LIC who is working in LIC or SBI, I mean these different types of policies they are promoting, so they will come up with different types of uh, policies, right? Okay, for this 15 years means they are the students, or okay, what kind of policies we can bring up for the students? 30 years means they are the actually employees or professionals, okay, what kind of policies we can bring for the employees? And 50 means they are actually old age people, so what kind of policies we can bring up with the 50 years age group? Okay, yeah, so this kind of information, the policies, they will better understand which kind of policies, okay, so we can bring up for the which age group. Okay, you will be forming different age group like students, working professionals or employees, and then old age, okay, retired, for example. So these three are the groups you are going to form a cluster into the groups. That's where the clustering is coming into picture, where you don't have the labels, okay, but still you are using that data for some kind of problem. Okay, right? So very good. So now are you all with me so far? So are you all with me so far? Is it boring, sleeping? Am I making sense? Yeah, thanks for your reply. So whenever, as again I'm saying, if you have any problems, if you have any questions, okay, please ping in the chat. Okay, if you don't understand the concepts, probably you can write down the questions and ask me in the question okay time. Okay, but please don't lose the interest. Please keep up the interest and follow me thoroughly. Okay. Okay, so we have this kind of data and this kind of things. Now let's, okay, quickly finish. So that is called a clustering problem. Okay, you don't have labels, but you have the data, what kind of things you can do. Now we have seen so far. Okay, that's called clustering. Okay, so in the clustering, what are the techniques you can apply? In the clustering, what are the techniques you can apply? So you can apply k-means is the most okay, the most popular method, k-means, that we are going to apply. And there are things called agglomerative clusterings. Okay, they are called hierarchical. Actually, in the hierarchical you have two, agglomerative and divisive. Okay, so I'm just noting down here. You have hierarchical. In the hierarchical you have agglomerative and divisive. Okay, so we are going to apply, okay, hierarchical clustering also. Okay, we are going to see hierarchical clustering. Sorry. So what are we going to see? The k-means we will do DB scan also. We will this is called density based scanning. DB scan is density based scanning, and agglomerative clustering, that means hierarchical clustering. We are going to see these three clustering methods. Okay, so yeah, any questions? Can you please go on mute? Okay. So mean shift and fuzzy C means we don't look into that, but we will, if you are interested, we will try to provide the references. Okay. So these things, the clustering we have discussed, classification we have discussed, regression we have discussed. Okay. Ensemble methods, it is nothing but, so you may come up with different classification algorithms, like you implemented KNN, you implemented SVM, but you are not getting good results. Okay. The accuracy we call. Okay, again note down the term called accuracy. Okay, it's a jargon, machine learning jargon. Accuracy, so you are not getting the good accuracy. Okay, accuracy, it is out of 100%, you have to get at least 95% or 98% accuracy. Okay, that means out of 100 testings, okay, you got 98 times correctly. Okay, 2 times wrong you got. That is accuracy. Okay, you are not getting good accuracy with KNN or with SVM. So what can you do? One thing, can you club KNN and SVM together and try to get more accuracy? Okay, clubbing these things, clubbing different machine learning techniques. Okay, so clubbing different machine learning techniques, you are going to do this ensemble methods. Ensemble methods means you are clubbing different classification techniques, and then coming, you're trying to get good accuracy. That is the main intention of this ensemble methods. Yes, we are going to study them also. Okay, so what you are going to study in this, so you will study the bagging technique and you will study the boosting technique. In the bagging technique you study the random forest, and in the boosting you study the XGBoost and AdaBoost. Different boosting techniques we will study. So it is nothing so no, it's not a complex thing. Okay, it is just all these things we will use from scikit-learn. Okay, so just try to understand this scikit-learn. Okay, I'm trying to write that here. Scikit-learn. Okay, this is the library, machine learning library. So in which all these, okay, whatever we are talking, all these things are implemented in scikit-learn. You need not to implement from scratch, but you have to understand what is going on behind the screen. Okay, so this library we will use and implement these ensemble methods. Okay, done. Now, so we will come to the neural nets and deep learning. So this neural nets called artificial neural networks, ANN, artificial neural networks, ANN, and deep learning. So in this artificial neural networks and deep learning, what are we going to see? Like, this concept is, you give an image or you give a video file or you give a audio file, it will take care of the rest of the things. You need not to worry about. As a data scientist, you need not to worry. It is just you have to develop that network. There are different networks available in the market also outside. You can just download that network and use for your purpose. Okay, even that is possible. So we are going to study this neural nets and deep learning. Okay, so in the deep learning, like we are going to discuss perceptrons. In the perceptrons there is MLP, that is called multi-layer perceptron. Okay, what is that? It is a multi-layer perceptron. So this we will see in the next coming slides also. I will quickly go through those slides and then give you information. Um, you have multi-layer perceptrons, and you have what are we going to study here? I will make a tick mark. Okay, multi-layer perceptrons you are going to study. In this recurrent neural network, a small example we will do, and the convolution network also, CNN also, we will do a small example. Okay, cats and dogs example. We will try to classify cats and dogs example. And in the final hackathon, you are going to use this to recognize your face. Okay, if you provide your photo, your pic, it has to give your name. It has to identify who you are, given any image. That we are going to solve face recognition problem by using these deep neural networks, DNN. So it is called deep learning concept. Okay. Now, so we will quickly go through this. Okay, in the next coming slides. Okay, so whatever we discussed so far, I will give you some good visualization there so that you will understand. Okay. Okay, do you have any questions so far? Please type in your chat box. Okay, I'll take up from there. So in next 5 to 10 minutes, we will go through the remaining slides. Okay. Okay, so here, okay, so machine learning types, like we discussed, classical machine learning, you have supervised and unsupervised. Classification, you will just draw a line, and above the line, they are positive, below the line, they are negative. Regression, okay, at what point of time you start, how much time it will take. The regression, you are going to fit a line here. Okay, so predicting a category is classification, predicting a number is a regression. The continuous number, discrete and continuous difference. In the unsupervised learning, you have clustering. You are going to form bowlers and batsmen or age group to come up with the policies. And there is an association rule. Okay, there is a rule called association, that a person bought a computer, okay, and the mouse. What else is required? He required another keyboard. Okay, a person got toothpaste and a toothbrush. What else he need? Okay, so like this, if the person bought this and this, and what is required to him, that is the association rule we call, or recommendation engine we call. Okay, identifying the sequences. And the clustering is dividing by the similarity. Next, dimension reduction. So this is a typical mathematical or complex concept that is we apply PCA. That's called principal component analysis, that we will see in the next slides. Okay. So what is classification? You have apples and oranges or pears. You are drawing a line where it divides, it classifies apples and oranges, and then you can you solve this problem. That's it. Okay. The applications like spam filtering, language detection, okay, search of similar documents. Documents means where the political documents or movie documents or finance documents, like that. Sentiment analysis, given a movie review, whether it is a positive movie or positive review or negative review. And recognition of handwritten characters like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or number plate recognition, detecting the vehicle number on the number plates. Okay, fraud detection. Fraud detection means whether the transaction is genuine transaction or it is a hacker transaction, fraud transaction. Okay, so you are going to see that. So naive Bayes classifier, that means you are searching for a term called kitty. Okay, if the kitty is repeated in 672 times in the good letters, it is a the next coming mail is a good. If it is more, it is a spam filter. Naive Bayes. And decision tree classifier, okay, whether you can give the loan or not based on the features called uh, whether he has a pledge, whether he has a debt, okay, and the guarantees are there or not. Based on it, whether you can grant the loan or not. Decision tree, you can see the branches here. This is a tree kind of thing. Okay. Support vector machines, okay, you will be drawing a line where again it is a classification only. Okay, you have to remember these terms, and then you have to remember whether the technique is used for classification problem or clustering problem. Okay, you are going to draw the line and divide this. Then what is regression? The regression is Okay, a typical example is if you start at what time, how many minutes you will take to go to college. Okay, like stock price forecast, stock price, like how much. So today is this is the stock value, and the day before yesterday this is the stock value. What will be tomorrow? What is the stock price? Okay, demand and sales and medical diagnosis, any number time correlation like time series problem. In January, this is the rainfall. In February, this is the rainfall. In March, this is the rainfall. What will be the rainfall in the November? Okay, like this. They are called time series problems. The time series problems are kind of regression problems. Okay. So this is how the regressions, you'll be fitting a line or a polynomial thing on the data so that you will predict the next number. Okay. Clustering. So you are going to cluster them like you can see the different items are there and they are clustered because similar items will be staying together. That is the main motto. Okay. Similar items will be staying together. So you are going to cluster them like in our example, the batsman and bowler, you are going to cluster them, or age group cluster you are going to do. So what are the things that you can do in the clustering? So to detect the abnormal behavior, okay, there is one data sample which is not coming under any cluster. So that is, we can treat that as a outlier or abnormal behavior. We can treat that, right? So to find out the abnormal behavior also, you can do that, this one. So for market segmentation, market bringing out the policies based on the group, age group or income group, we can say that. So that is market segmentation. So this is the k-means clustering, how it works, and dimensionality reduction. Don't okay. So this we discuss in detail in coming classes. Okay. So this you can park for now. So association rule. So if you buy this, if I buy this, what should be like? Okay. So how can I recommend? Okay. For example, you are watching a movie called um, horror movies. Okay, you are watching horror movies. What will be the next horror movie you can watch? Or you like the adventurous movies? You watched a few adventurous movies. What is the next movie that you can watch? Like that. Okay. So forecast sales and web surfing patterns. Okay, this association rules and recommendation engine. You bought this. You bought this. What is the next thing that you can bought in Amazon or Flipkart? You can see, right? People who bought this also bought these things. They will give the recommendations. So they're actually recommendation systems that we generate. Okay. Ensemble methods. This comes into picture when you don't get good accuracy with one model. Okay, you want to club many models. So what we can say is that um, if you bring all the poor learners together and you take their opinion and you take the majority of the things, then it will be better. That means if you bring all the poor learners together, you will get the best learning out of that, right? So that is called ensemble methods. We will see few ensemble methods. Okay, random forest, gradient boosting, and SGBoost. Okay, so this is one type of you have KNN, you have decision tree, you have SVM. If you put all together, you will get the best performance out of it. This is called stacking. And the next, bagging. Okay, so this is one thing. And the boosting. So three different things are there that we will implement by using scikit-learn. Okay, neural nets. You have different neural nets, deep learning network. Okay, you give the image, you will get the output. Okay, so this is called multi-layer perceptron. Multi-layer means you have many layers. Okay, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, like that. Given any image, you are predicting what is the image out of it. Okay, so you are going to detect here what is this bicycle, what is this a person, okay, what is this here you can see a cell phone. Okay, so given any video or image, you are going to identify what are the objects in that image. Okay, so it is just illustration. Okay, for purpose I kept here, but these cats and dogs we are going to implement, okay, by using the deep neural network. Okay, so in the deep neural network, DNN, there are two things. In the deep neural networks, there are two types like CNN and RNN. CNN is convolutional neural networks. CNN, convolutional neural networks. Okay, so most of the times we use this for image processing. we call image processing. Give an image, it will tell you what is that image. Okay, CNN. And you also have the RNN, recurrent neural networks, RNN, recurrent neural networks. Okay, so this is most of the times you use for text processing. Text processing. Give any text, it will give the output. For example, you give the English sentence, it will give you Spanish sentence. This is called language translation. Okay, you give the English sentence, it will give you the Telugu sentence equivalent to that. Okay, so that is called language translation. And text processing. For text processing, we use most of the times this recurrent neural networks. Okay, this we will see a small example on this also. So like this is a translation language. Knowledge is power is encrypted into Chinese language. Okay, yeah, so this is what we are going to look in our learn in our course. Okay, this is a quick walkthrough. Hope you understood this, the gist of this overview. This we are going to learn in depth, okay, point by point in coming classes. Okay, so somebody asked, can you please tell me what we are going to learn? So this is what we are going to learn in the course. And you can ask the questions now. And these things are taken from Machine Learning is Fun by Steve Nuri. Okay, so now the questions. You can type in chat, or if you are unable to chat there, probably you can unmute and ask the questions. Okay, now open for the questions. Okay, just quick. So I'm going through different questions here. Okay, will the slides will be shared? Yes. Could you explain how hackathon will be organized? That definitely we will explain on the hackathon, before the hackathon day, or if we get time in between the classes also, I will explain you. Will we get any notes or even slides for reference later? Yeah, we will get the slides, these slides definitely. Or if you want, you can even prepare your own slides. Okay, go through different books, different blogs. Okay, and then you can prepare the slides if you want. Okay, didn't get deep neural network and ensemble methods. Yeah, good. Because they are actually not simple things. That's why you didn't get it now. Definitely you'll get it later in the coming classes. Okay, don't worry that. Just to introduce the terms and to give a broader scope. Okay, bird's eye view we call, right? Bird's eye view. We are looking at the 10,000 feet high. Okay, if you look at 10,000 feet high, what happens? You can see only the larger objects. Okay, simple objects. So the rest of the things, whatever you don't understand, definitely we will be going through the next slides, next classes. Next. Yeah, clustering is what you used in e-commerce. Actually, that we use recommendations there in the e-commerce, not clustering. When you buy a phone, it recommends for your phone. Yeah, that is recommendation system we call. Okay, it's not clustering. Yeah, yeah, actually, okay, I'll try to slow down the pace. Okay. Yeah, thanks for that suggestion. I'll try to work on it. Can we recognize CAPTCHA and also bypass not robot? No, it will be difficult. See, people are developing this kind of machines models. That's why they came up with CAPTCHAs, where it will be very difficult to break. Okay. So as the solutions are increasing, counterparts are also increasing. That's why they came up with CAPTCHAs to identify the roadblocks, zebra crossing, lights, signal lights. So if you are creating any Google account or any subscription you are making, it will ask you to recognize these things, right? So that is to avoid this kind of automations. Where does the chatbots comes under? Chatbots actually, they are actually text processing things. Okay, given any text, you have to process and you have to identify what is that. Okay, that's text processing related. That means the data is in the format of text. Okay, the data can be in the format of images, text, or audio files, video files. Okay. Is not random forest an extension for decision trees? Yes, it is true. It's the extent you have multiple decision trees. That's why you got random forest. That's called ensemble technique again. Now, or are they classified in different groups like ensemble? And definitely, we'll discuss that in that class. Are we also going to learn text mining, ontology, NLP, and also the error metrics and pre-processing techniques? Yes, we will study the error metrics. That's the loss functions and performance metrics, accuracy, precision recall, and pre-processing techniques. In the text processing, you will appreciate these pre-processing techniques that we will learn, but not text mining, ontology, NLP. NLP is natural language processing that we will cover for to some extent. Text mining, ontology, that we are not going to cover. Tableau, no, we are not going to. We are not going to learn the Tableau here. We are not going to learn the Tableau here. Please, if you are interested, you have to learn by your own, or we will give some references if it is required. Yeah, we will share the slides and content. What is the session times, morning and evening? Session timings are from 7:30 to 9:30. We crossed actually 4 minutes. Sorry for that. Difference between neuron network and deep learning, that we will see in the next class, coming classes. How are you going to share the videos and slides? Yeah, we will be forming the groups here, and then we are going to share the slides and these things. So in the Google Drive, so they will be in the Google Drive. We will share it with your Google accounts. Is that okay? Anything to download and install for the next class? Yes, you have to download Anaconda. Okay, so installation part we will see tomorrow, not a problem. So meanwhile, you just browse if you want. You have to install Anaconda. Then you can do it on local. But most of the times we will be working in Google Colab, that is on cloud. So no need, the installation is not required for that. Text processing, actually ML technique is, so see, text processing is a problem, right? To the problem you can apply any solution. The solution will be classification technique like KNN. Different techniques we have seen, right? SVM, decision trees. So to the problem you will apply the solution. The text processing is a problem. So you have the text data set, you are going to work on it. Like for example, if you take movie review, you have given a review. This movie is very good and acted very nicely. Background music is very good. Overall, it's a good movie to watch. So this is the review that you are giving, and then you have to identify what kind of polarity. So whether it is a good review or a bad review. Okay, so that's where the text processing comes into picture. Okay, to some extent. Yeah, today evening we have a class from 6 to 7. I mean, as you don't have any, we don't have any uh, experiments are not given for this. Okay, experiments are not given for this. Probably from 6 to 7 today we do not have any class. Okay, tomorrow we will see that. Is that okay? Right. So far I think I have answered all the questions. So I request you to post your question again if I missed by mistake. If there are no more questions, yeah, today evening we don't have any class. Please. Okay, friends, the very good. We had a fantastic session. Okay, and one kind request is that whenever you are logging, okay, to this session, please follow the format of your ID underscore your name. You have to give. Okay, so that we'll be tracking the attendance, because to give the certificates, attendance is mandatory. So if you are in the notion that, okay, I just need a certificate, I don't want to attend any class, sorry, it's not going to work out. Okay, you have to attend all the classes. By mistake, if you miss 1 or 2 classes, that's okay. That's why we said 90% of attendance is required. So please follow this instruction. Hope you are following me, you are able to hear me. Please follow the instruction. You have to log in with the naming format as your candidate ID or registration ID underscore your name, whatever the ID is given to you. If you don't, if you did not get your ID, please contact Soumya. Okay, she will be sending the IDs. If you have any problems in getting the IDs, please contact her. She will be giving you the IDs. Okay, that's where we'll find out who is joining and who is attending or who is not attending. Okay. Okay, friends. That's a great session actually. So again, we will see tomorrow class in tomorrow's class. Okay. Please, if you have any feedback, genuine feedback, please let me know. I will definitely work on it and I will try to rectify that. Okay. We'll be here always to serve you better. Okay. To make you better in this. So throughout this course, we will be working for you. Okay. Thanks for your attention. Okay, team. Then, okay, logging off. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.